Have no fear, the Dougster's here. Welcome to another episode of Dougster's Wolverine Garage. It's more Dougster Story Time. This time, we're going to talk about the missing $7,000. This is probably the early 90s or the late 80s. A friend of my father's and my uncle's, we'll call him Bob. Bob ran a bunch of businesses, and one of them, he repaired heavy equipment and serviced the whole shebang. He'd go do work for you too, but his shop would repair heavy equipment. And he bought pieces of equipment, he sold pieces of equipment, and he was legendary for keeping cash. He would pay you in cash. So he would go up to your bulldozer that you have for sale and he'd talk to you. What do you want for that dozer? I want $25,000 for the dozer. And he'd go, all right. And he'd pull out $32,000. And he says, here's 32. And I know that's more than what you want, but I was hoping that until I can get my guys down here to bring this home to Michigan, can we keep it here? He'd buy all over. He'd buy in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin. He didn't care. I mean, if the deal was right, he was making it happen. And he liked to play in cash. And he was also known to wear a very elaborate pinky ring. And so one particular day, he's out buying a piece of equipment in a not so great area of town. And he goes there. And at the time, he was driving a rosy silver Ford pickup, if you know what I mean, that reddy silver. He loved that truck. He said he felt like a king when he drove it. And pretty cool. So he's in that Ford truck and he's at this not so great area, and he decides that I'm going to keep $7,000 off to the side. I don't need all this money on me. So he discreetly takes out his money, $7,000, puts it in an envelope, and then puts that in the glove box of his Ford. And he takes off his pinky ring and he puts that there too. Closes the glove box, locks the glove box, locks his truck when he gets out. Oh, he makes the sale. Everything goes fine without a hitch. And he jumps in his pickup and he's headed back home. And on the way, he stops off for whatever, a cup of coffee. And he's like, oh yeah, I got that money in my ring. Unlocks his glove box, opens the glove box door. There sits his ring. But the envelope with $7,000 is gone. And he doesn't know what happened to it. And he takes the whole, so he's all distraught. Well, he's all distraught. He drives all the way back to where the shop is. And he comes in and it's like a Friday afternoon. And my dad and my uncle are already there holding court and harassing all the guys that work for Bob. And this is normal. And in pulls Bob with this truck. And the first thing he does is he basically takes the glove box contents out. All in the thing, looking for it. And he's looking through the door cards, and he's looking through this, and he's looking through that, and he's starting to become upset. And he doesn't say anything to the guys, or to Dad or my uncle, and which is weird. So finally, they all come around. Bob, what's going on? Guys, I misplaced $7,000. I'm just sick about it. And he tells the whole story, and then he looks a little bit more in the truck, and then he says, guys, I just got to get my head clear. it's time to have some lunch. I'm going to go to the bar and have lunch. I'll just deal with this later. So off Bob goes to lunch, bar around the corner, a short walk. So my dad and my uncle and they talk amongst themselves. And he goes, my uncle says, it's got to be in this truck. Where? We don't know. But nobody come got it. So it's in the truck. Where is it? So they're looking up underneath the dash with a trouble light and all sorts of stuff, and they don't see nothing. And my uncle takes out the passenger floor mat. And there it was. Was that $7,000? The glove box was so full of crap that when he laid that envelope and his ring on there and he closed it, either when he closed it, it fell, or when he left where he was, headed home to wherever he stopped for that cup of coffee. And sometime in that journey, maybe it fell. We don't know. But my uncle goes, bingo. And he pulls it, he looks into it. Sure enough, 7,000. My uncle puts it in his hip pocket. And so later, Bob comes back from lunch, and he's in a better mood a little bit. And he talks to the guys a little bit, and then I got to deal with that truck. My uncle had put the floor mat back, and he made it look like he didn't do anything. So Bob's back to work. He's starting to wring this truck out like a dish rag. And my uncle goes, hey, Bob, look for that. Where'd you find that? And he tells him underneath the floor mat. And so, yeah, he was just sick about it. And yeah, it was just something stupid. So I told you that story to tell you this story. Yeah, double feature. So now that you know that he was known for dealing in cash only, big amounts of cash, I never seen him pay with checks. Bob's always dealt in cash. And then Bob passes on. And Bob's son, little Bob, takes over the family business. Little Bob's worked there forever. Literally, as soon as he could work, he was working for his dad. So now little Bob has the business and everything's fine. And, well, it's time to go through Dad's office. And little Bob's in Dad's office, and he knows where stuff is. You know, it's not like he's a stranger to it. And he gets into the safe behind the desk. And in the safe, he cleans out, little Bob's cleaning out the safe. The safe is full of a lot of stuff. And it's a pretty big safe. And then in the very back of the safe, on the bottom, was money. Bands of money standing up along the bottom of the safe. And it had sat there for so long that somehow, some way, the money drew moisture and then molded. And so little Bob doesn't think anything of it, and he just laughs because that's Dad, you know. So he grabs a little bit of it, puts it in a bag, and he goes to the bank, doing his normal business, and he deposits a pretty good portion of that money. And everything's fine. Goes back home. Next few days later, that's like Tuesday, we'll say. And on a Thursday, it was a few days later, he gets a knock at the door. Little Bob at the office, where if the truck's outside the office, he's in his office, you can just walk in. You knock at the door, that's strange. There's a knock at the door. Okay. Goes, oh, yeah. 3 suits. Agent so-and-so, agent so-and-so, and agent so-and-so to the FBI. Wanting to know why you got moldy money. Where you got moldy money from. Oh, he says, come on in, guys. Have a seat. I'll show you right now. And he brings all three of those FBI agents into his dad's old office, and he walks around and he, look here, safe, opens it up, and he goes, there's some more money. Thank God he didn't take it all. He goes, there's some more of that money. Dad dealt in cash, and this safe was packed to the brim, and my father was blah, blah, blah years old when he probably just plumb forgot about it. So that's the mystery of the moldy money. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Couple of pictures, sign this, all right. Thank you, sir. There's no problem with that. But how interesting is that? So I hope you found that interesting. Check out more content right here on Dougster's Wolverine Garage. See ya.